Hi, everybody. I am here with our instructor, Micki, and she is going to talk to us on this Midlands Gives Day about her work as a SASS Go instructor and also the process by which she went through to become a SASS Go instructor. Micki is out in Salt Lake City, Utah, and she is changing the lives of so many through her community classes and through the SASS, both teaching and teaching SASS at Dancing Moose Montessori School. And Micki, we are just thrilled to have you here with us today. Thank you for being here.
Lisa, I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're just gonna dive right in. Like I said, you are a teacher at Dancing Moose Montessori School, and you also share SASS there as well as sharing SASS in the community. And I'm hoping you can just tell us all a little bit more about yourself and about being a SASS instructor.
So I am a mom. I live in Salt Lake City, as you mentioned, with my husband and our 9-year-old son and our 5 pets. It's a little bit of a zoo around here. But yeah, I have an administrative role at a private Montessori school, and I also am a yoga instructor. So I started at the school teaching yoga classes for kids, and then it has just kind of developed and changed over time. And I was really fortunate to be approached by the founder of the school with the opportunity to explore the potential of being trained as a SASS instructor so that I could in turn bring it back to our school and train our staff. We have over 200 female employees, and it was really important to the founder of our school that those employees were safe, not only while at the school, but in their personal lives outside of Dancing Moose as well. So I got the opportunity to learn more about the program and decided that it was an amazing fit, not only for our school, but for me personally.
Well, that's wonderful. So talk to us a little bit. You were approached about sharing SASS at the school, and then you had to go through a process by which you did become a SASS Go instructor. Can you talk with us first a little bit about the application process itself?
Yeah, absolutely. So the application process was really involved, which I think initially kind of surprised me. But as I went through it, I quickly realized why it was the way that it was. And it was very intentional. And I'm really grateful for it because it gave me the opportunity to really dive into why I wanted to be an instructor. As I mentioned before, I was approached with the opportunity from my boss, and immediately it felt right to me. So I was kind of jumping in just based on a feeling, which that was really important. I think that that's not to be unacknowledged. That was a really important feeling, but it took more than that. I needed to really dive deep and decide what it meant to me, not just here, but here, and what it looked like here, and whether or not it really was the best decision for me and for my life and for what I was going to be doing with it and what I would be taking from it. And particularly the interview process. I really enjoyed that because it just forced me to look deeper and to think about the women and girls that this would be going to, and take it from what does this mean to me into a broader, what does this mean to the people that I will be working with? And so it just really gave me the chance to solidify for myself that I really wanted to do this. It helped me to understand more about SASS as an organization and its mission, and recognize how important it was, and then to in turn internalize that and make it important to me as well.
Yeah. Well, and you know, that determination and internal drive to become an instructor is so important, because then the actual training process itself is quite intense. So you go through the application process, you go through the interview process, the background check, and then the real fun gets started. And I know that you attended our national instructor training in 2019 in Salt Lake City. And I'm hoping you can just share some of the highlights from that training. Well, let's start with there. If you can just share a little bit about the training itself, and then I might ask you about some of the highlights.
Yeah, absolutely. And you used the right word. It is intense, but in the funnest way possible. So it is physically demanding, it's emotionally demanding, but it's incredible. So it was a week-long training where we were able to come together as a group of women and really just spend a week focusing on learning not only the physical moves, but learning how to utilize those moves to build strength and power within ourselves and with the women and girls that we teach. There was a physical test that is required, and then there's just so many moves to learn and to perfect, and then also learning the why behind them, and just really a lot of repetition of just ingraining the moves into our bodies and into our muscle memories. And that was just phase one of training. From there was so much more we got to do after that week of learning about trauma and learning about some of the things that are happening around this world, and the purpose of this program to stop those things and to prevent them from happening in the first place. And then when things have happened, to be able to help heal and empower women to get their strength back. There were times when we were laughing our heads off and times when we were bawling our eyes out and everything in between. But it was just such an incredible experience, and the bonds and the friendship that we developed as instructors through that process was amazing, and will never go away. And yeah, it just really helped me to see where I would be able to go with this and why it was so purposeful, and kind of just built on the application process of really ingraining it into my soul of how much this meant to me as well as to the women I'd be able to teach.
Thank you. And you said, absolutely, this was just phase one. So we had the week intense in-person physical training, and then went into phase two. Can you talk a little bit more about what happens during phase two without giving too many surprises?
Yeah, let's see if I can remember. So phase two is a lot of self-study and kind of personal reflection. And then there are also webinars that we participated in that were just more educational pieces on, as I mentioned before, dealing with trauma and recognizing predatory tactics, and just a wide variety of subject matters that are so important to understand as an instructor. Understanding that everyone that walks in the door walks in with a different story, with a different history, with a different heart, and just being aware of that and acknowledging the importance of that, and knowing that your words are so important. I think phase two really solidified for me the weight of what we do. So I think I finished phase two of training feeling very excited and just ready to go out and change the world, which is a great feeling.
Wonderful. And I think too, there's so much about instructor training that's critical, not only for the development of the candidate instructor, but also for the development of the organization itself, because it is so critical. And I think that's why, part of the reason phase 2 is as involved as it is it's so critical that we as an organization know that when our instructors go out into the world and are teaching SASS in their communities, they're informed, they are involved, they are teaching it as if, you were taking the class from the person who started it. It is a standardized class, so we know everyone who walks in that room is getting the right information and is being cared for. So it is an involved process, but the outcome is so important. And so that's, just another thing that I love seeing kind of at the end of phase 2, when y'all all go and test out and watching how each of you takes the material, makes it your own, but ensures that it's still SASS that's being shared in communities, not only here in the Midlands where we started, but throughout the country.
Yeah, it was so valuable and important for me to realize the amount of study and experience and research that went into this program before it even began. Once I recognized kind of the weight of the importance of what I would be doing, having that trust in the organization was vital. Knowing that the information that I was being given and the things that I was being taught were based on so much knowledge and so much training that you just can't go wrong with it. So.
Well, and Micki, you not only have gone through instructor training as a trainee and then been a SASS instructor, you also have helped with other SASS instructor trainings as well. Mm-hmm. And so, whether it's one that you've helped with or whether it's your training that you attended, is, there's a specific story or moment that you feel comfortable sharing that sticks out in your mind that you would like to share?
There are so many, so many. Specific to training, I remember the first day that we all came together. The very first thing that you do in instructor training is the physical fitness portion. It was the only thing that we really knew to expect and that we knew what was coming and could prepare for. So I think there was kind of that nervous buzz, and we had all just met all these new faces, and then we had to go run. And for me personally, I am not a runner. I had to train and prepare. And even then it was really hard for me. So I just put in my little earphones and I'm just, doing the best that I can, running along, hoping to just make it to the finish line without passing out. And I'll never forget, as I finished and turned around and looked back, seeing a couple of other girls who were struggling, and some of the women who had finished previously had gone back and did extra laps to join with them and to help support them and encourage them across the finish line. And that just hit me so hard, because I think I realized in that moment that kind of summed up the whole purpose of what we're doing, and just how incredible that was for these women to be lifting up and supporting and encouraging these women that they just barely met. Not only did they just have to do this run themselves, but they were willing to do extra to support and encourage and help them. And that just, I always go back to that and just remember that that's the whole point. That's just really what we're here to do.
Yeah, well, thank you. I remember that and agree that it was beautiful. So Micki, we have, folks who maybe have just taken a SASS class, or maybe have taken lots of SASS classes, or maybe are just learning about us for the first time and might be interested in becoming instructors. And I'm wondering if you have any thoughts or any advice that you would like to share with prospective SASS instructors?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a decision to take lightly. I think really looking into your heart and soul and defining why it's important to you is the first step. But then if you feel passionate about it, go for it. I think it truly is a life-changing experience. I know that sounds cliche. Really, just such an incredible program that was created by incredible people. You will never find another organization that is filled with so much love and support, and really just is built on the most intentional processes and purposes. It's an incredible feeling to be able to help other people, but selfishly, it also helps you so much and in so many ways. I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was in 2019 when I started that first training, and just in the best ways. So I just say, go for it, but be ready for a ride.
Well, Micki, thank you so much. And, just for our community that's tuned in and is interested in learning more about SASS Go and the work we do and our instructor training program, your support is so critical because it can be used to train an instructor, and that instructor in turn, just like Micki, just like the 24 instructors we have right now in states, here in the Midlands and also in states across the country, who are going out and then sharing SASS with their communities and sharing such valuable information, with so many. So truly your support is critical in so many areas of what we do, but absolutely here in helping us train as many instructors as possible. So thank you, Micki, for taking the time to be in the SASS Go Zoom room. And thank you, Midlands Gives, for all you do to support SASS and support our instructors and support the many women and girls that we have the honor and privilege of serving. So thank you.
Thank you.